Tracy, you are so
Thank
funny.
you for thank you for joining us for Tracy Takes On, the show that talks about all things politics. This is the second taping of the same said show because we had some technical difficulties, but I'm joined by both panelists Charles and Talisha. I'll let them talk here in just a moment. And so, for everybody, we're going to do a special Dr. King discussion afterwards because yesterday, when we taped, it was Dr. King's official day. But we'll do a special thing about him at the end. But I want to get to it right now, and I'll let Talisha go first. We have less than 24 hours before 45 is finally out of office. What are your thoughts, and how are you feeling?
So I'm very happy. I'm very pleased that he's going. Um, we are in DC. I live in DC, so we're pretty much locked down, and we have no plans to leave this base till we absolutely have to, because nuts are everywhere. And apparently, since they tried to take over the Capitol, there were military people involved. So it's a little scary, but I think the tide will change hopefully once he's out of office.
And I know, Charles, you said yesterday that you would miss him. And could you explain that again? Because I really thought about that. I'm like, wait a minute. What did he say?
I'm gonna miss him because he was, when you watch a drama show, a drama series every week, you always root against the villain. Is the villain gonna get caught and get his? And now, tomorrow is the series finale, and he's leaving, but he's not leaving the way I wish he had left, which happens in most series. I wish he had left in handcuffs going to prison instead of getting on Air Force One and getting a ride home. So, yeah, I'm gonna miss the drama. Now we got nice Biden up there. It's probably gonna be boring, but hopefully he gets things done. I'm glad that Trump is gone because of the things he's done, but I just have to find something else to watch now. 'Cause
Yeah, he did know how to put on a show. I'll give him that much. Of course, I said this yesterday. There's not one bit of his face that I'm gonna miss. I'm not gonna miss his voice. I'm not gonna miss his conspiracy theories. I'm not gonna miss when he rides down elevators and says that Mexicans are rapists and murder. There's nothing I'm going to miss. I don't have to see him on television. I just hope that New York and DC convict him and he can go out to prison and have Secret Service in there with him. And good riddance. I think in history books, we should just talk about President Obama, skip 45, and then be like, we was going through that time, and then just jump over to Biden. We should just skip him all throughout the history books and never talk about it again. That's really what I think. He's been so detrimental to everything. And a new development that was coming out today is that Mitch McConnell finally decided to grow a backbone and say that Trump was the one that incited the riots. What are you guys' thoughts about McConnell finally growing a backbone, or is this more for show to the Trump base?
Well, is he going to? Did he say he's going to vote for impeachment, or did he just say that little bit?
I think the way he said it, he said that Trump provoked it. Now he didn't. He was giving a speech, so he didn't say how he would vote. But if I were watching it and I didn't know Mitch McConnell, I'd be like, "Oh, he's gonna vote for it." It's the way that he said it, not necessarily what he said. And I'm like, oh, so now after all them years, you decided now's the time to grow a backbone. Okay, thanks.
Well, that's because they've gotten everything they wanted. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Charles.
Words don't mean anything. You have to see what the action is, because he said this when the riot first happened. So he knew this impeachment was coming, and he had the power, along with Schumer, that they could have called the Senate back into session for, emergency purposes to have this trial, but he didn't do that. So he waited until now when he's not even in charge anymore. So, I mean, when they vote, then, you'll see if he has a backbone, because he hadn't had a backbone in the past 4 years. So, well, he hadn't had a backbone since in probably the past 16 years, ever since or 12 years when Obama became the president. So, it's just words, just talk.
Yeah, and how do you follow up question? How do you think, since this is going to go to trial next week, do you think that, assuming that Joe Manchin doesn't play Republican, how do you think that the votes are going to go? Do you think it's going to be 50-50, or do you think that the prosecuting side can get those 17 votes needed to formally charge him and convict him?
Well, that's a lot of 17 votes is a lot of votes. I'm sure they're going to get a few votes. I think Romney will vote for impeachment, and maybe Susan
Murkowski.
Collins this time, and Lisa Murkowski. But, I don't know. And it really, to me, it really doesn't make a difference, because, just if they convict him, means he can't run for office anymore, or in the federal government. He could still run for like governor or stuff like that.
Oh, God forbid.
What
But
state would have him though?
Florida.
But if he's not convicted, I still say he has too many legal issues that he's facing that they're going to drag on for a few years, before they resolve it, and he won't run for president again. I don't think he wants it again. I think he wanted it just so he could get out of all his legal issues by the statute of limitation. But now that now he's got to face them. I mean, I really don't think he would want to come back up in there again. We haven't even seen him since the riot.
That's
So
because he's scared. He's scared. That's why we
he's a
haven't seen him.
they got him. He's a prisoner. He's not allowed to do anything. They cut off his Twitter, Facebook, pretty much all his social uh, sites. And like I say, I just think he's gone, and it's a done deal. I don't, and anybody who's tied to him, I think they're gonna probably be toxic too. That they won't be able to run again. So, but then that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Talisha, same question. Do you think that the prosecuting side has the 17 votes from Republican? And again, we're assuming that Joe Manchin doesn't go all stupid on us.
Right. Absolutely not. I do not believe they have it. I agree with Charles that they've got Murkowski, they've got Collins, they've got Romney. I think Joe Manchin has already alluded to the effect, to the fact that Trump was responsible for that riot. So I think he will vote that way just because he's getting so much pressure from the Democratic side of the House, which, shocker, I'm surprised that that's working. But I don't agree with Charles about the so many legal problems that he won't run again. Trump, if nothing else, is vain as all get out, and he cannot handle the fact that he lost. And he even referenced some president, and I can't remember the guy's name, that ran, lost to the incumbent. In the incumbency, he lost, and then 4 years after that, he ran again and was elected. So he already alluded to that. But then, of course, with him, it's all about the will I or won't I, will I or won't I? And he'll keep you guessing for 4 years so Ted Cruz can't run. So I really just think that he won't get convicted, but I don't believe he'll be elected again. I don't think he's too toxic. I just think that, unless just shy of Kamala really jacking up the next 4 years and not standing up like she should, um, she's probably got a better chance of getting back in 4 years from now. I don't think Joe will be running again. Um, and I just don't think that the Republicans have anything strong right now. Like they literally have put all their weight behind Trump, and he was a disappointment. So all these people came together, at least 8 or 6 million more votes came together to let him know he was not wanted here. So just shy of them monumentally screwing up the next 4 years, he's not coming back. He can't.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with both of you all. And I'm going to tell you why I do. I think if they don't get the 17 votes, I think they'll get 15. And this is why. I think the Republican Party, the established Republican Party, they realize, yes, we need the Trump base to support us. However, I think they want to purge themselves away from Trump. I really think if you look at the way the Republican Party is kind of fighting among itself, they don't know whether they're going to be pro-Trump, anti-Trump. And so you hear rumblings, especially from those McConnell type of Republicans that are saying, you know what? It's time for us to rid ourselves of that image. I don't know if I think they're going to get really, really, really close to 17. Now, whether I think that means a conviction, I think it's highly possible. I think there's a high possibility that they will vote to convict him, meaning that he won't get to ever hold a federal office. However, if that works, I can't see him running as like a governor. And only reason I can't see him running as a governor is because that's like a down step. I mean, you've already held the most important office in all of America. Now you're going to be downgraded to a governor of a state. That doesn't make sense to me. I think what he'll do is if he's not convicted, he's definitely going to run. There's no doubt about it. He will absolutely positively run if he's not convicted. If he is convicted, then one of his children, specifically either Eric or Don Jr., is going to run in his stead. It'll be one or the other. But I think it's a really strong possibility. If I had to put it in percentages, I say there's I want to say like 51-49 chance that he will get convicted.
I don't think he'll get convicted.
I really do. I think so many Republicans are so tired of him, like they will never say it publicly.
Exactly. That's why he won't get convicted. It's not a quiet vote. It's not a private vote. So it'll actually be on Front Street, and then their base will turn against them. Let's not forget, 93% of the Republican Party voted for him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I really don't even care about what happens in the Congress. I want to see what happens in the U.S. courts, because I'm waiting to see about all these pardons. Who's going to get pardoned? Is Trump going to get pardoned? Because I don't think if he gets pardoned, he's going to have to deal with inciting this riot, and we have to see, how far that'll go, what kind of charge that'll be. Because, it's like every day more and more people are getting arrested for this riot, and all of them are saying, that they were acting on the orders of Trump. So,
true. But do you think Joe will prosecute?
Tomorrow, he's going to probably have to answer for that, in addition to all the other legal issues that he has to answer.
Now, Talisha, you just asked a great question, and I have an answer. You asked whether Joe Biden will pardon Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will. And this is why. I don't want nobody getting in the comment section talking about anything. The reason I think he might do it is to, quote unquote, heal the country.
Ugh.
and move us forward. And if he didn't, there is a possibility if those Nimkawads that went to the Capitol before, they might do it again.
True.
So
Well,
there's a good
I'm
chance.
do- I'm done with Biden if he does that. I mean, you have to take responsibility for what you've
True.
done and 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 uh and be accountable. 5 people died,
True.
um
Yeah.
and for what for him inciting this riot. So, I just don't think that they're going to gloss over this thing like it's going to heal. It's not going to heal anything. You have to be accountable for it before that. If it causes if it breaks up the unity, so what? If it breaks up your party, so what? You rebuild it back up. But
Right.
just to pardon him and to say that's healing, well, that's a disrespect to the people who died trying to do their job. So,
Right.
Yep, I see what
that,
you're saying, but I got a funny feeling that, like I said, that one I'm more 50-50. I'm like, he could do it, but yeah, I
I
think he might.
Yeah,
I
but
I
even still,
really don't think, now I'll say that maybe he won't get involved with justice, but as far as going to pardon him, God, has a Democrat ever pardoned a Republican president or vice versa?
well, have we ever had a criminal president that got caught, really? Because I'm sure they all were criminals, but have we ever had a criminal
I mean,
president
we had
prosecuted?
Nixon, but he resigned. So
And
Well,
he was pardoned by Ford.
Nixon got pardoned, but then he got pardoned by a Republican
yeah, he was
president.
pardoned by Republicans. So I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, but let's be real. Isn't Joe really Republican light? So,
Yep. That's why I'm like, it's a good chance. I was like, I'm not going to call it 50-50, but let me put it this way. If he did it, it would not shock me. I'd be like, oh, yep, that's what I thought.
Well, if
but
he
even if
did,
he
I'm,
did,
I'm
the
through
states
with him.
still,
If he does that, I'm through with him. So,
right? Well, the states could still prosecute
Prosecute.
him, but
Yes,
I'm
that's it.
still highly skeptical that that'll happen, though, because like, how has that ever happened? Like, no president has ever been convicted, and I refuse to call him that word. However, I don't think that they will prosecute him. Like, it doesn't even matter. They could talk all the trash they want, but at the end of the day, he'll settle on some fines, and that'll be it. He's never going to go to jail.
Yeah, because think about it. If he did go to jail and he would be the first former president, first of all, you're going to have Secret Service in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to have to coordinate that whole thing. The worst thing I think they could make him do is wear an ankle bracelet and he can't leave the country. I
well,
think.
that's okay. He got if he gets convicted, if he don't go to jail, that's fine. But if he gets convicted of something, I guess I'll be cool with that. But you can he has to be accountable. You
I
just
agree.
can't let him off the hook for what happened. I mean, gee, these people done stormed the Capitol. They didn't kill people. Uh, they stole information, probably classified information. I mean, I
Right.
heard today, they're investigating some lady who was trying to sell Pelosi's laptop to Russia. So I'm just saying, and Trump has he incited this. Rudy helped incite this. Don Jr. helped incite this.
Congress
Rudy said
people.
he can't even be the president's lawyer in this mess because he's a witness now because of when he, holler, we need to go down and it needs to be trial by combat. And
Right.
Yeah, I think Talisha was about to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with Charles. Congress people even started this
Yep.
because Mo Brooks, what's that guy's name whose family always tells them not to vote for him? Gosar. and there's another one, Biggs. They were all a part of the planning.
And you guys just came into my second topic of the evening is the fact, and I said this yesterday, I think what has shocked me is that Congress people were actually involved in the planning and the overthrow of a government because an election didn't go their way. Now, I personally know if they're found guilty, they've committed treason. And last time I checked, treason only has one penalty that I know of. That I know of. Maybe somebody else know of another one. But I definitely think, and I'm not sure why Congress isn't doing this as fast as possible, they need to remove those three from office if what the organizer said is true.
Right.
And definitely, I don't know if they would have to hold special elections in that case, but there needs to be jail time. There needs to be maximum sentence in a regular prison, not some special place. There needs to be something because this is scary when you serve in Congress and to think that your co-worker is plotting to literally kill you. I mean, you had I can't even think of the protester's name, the one with the horns on, going around and having, was that a machete he had? It's
I don't
like
know what he had.
he had something. I'm like, wait a minute. How did they get past that security? These people knew exactly where to go. They knew how to get through the tunnels. They knew because they had three, maybe even more Congress people that were helping them to plan that. That's just, to me, that's scary. And I don't even serve in public office. I would be having, I don't know, a bulletproof jacket or some type of weapon with me because that's very scary.
Well, what about the
Well,
lady that was live tweeting Nancy Pelosi's coordinates to everyone? Like, why is she? First of all, there's no investigation necessary. That heifer needs to be gone.
Absolutely.
her mother-in-law too was a rioter in the Capitol
The
that day.
Congress lady from Colorado?
Yeah, yeah, the one that was you said that was
Live
calling
tweeting.
out Nancy Pelosi's location. Sure was.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
it's like more and more stuff is coming out. They have so many videos of these idiots, that were stupid enough to video themselves.
Wow.
They just making it easy for them to go to jail. They can't blame
Right.
it on Antifa because the people who took all these pictures of themselves are Trump supporters. So, I mean, Trump would have loved to have blamed this whole thing on Antifa and then
Which they
called
tried to
martial
do.
law.
Yeah, they did try to do that. They tried to do Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then that would have been an excuse to declare martial law. So then he wouldn't have had to do a change of transfer of power.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but that the whole thing just backfired.
And with
And
these Congress people, I'm thinking this is got to be the epitome of white privilege because
Yeah.
the simple fact is, if this was Ilhan Omar, who was tweeting out coordinates, who was planning a riot, who was doing any challenging an election result, her butt, not only would she be so out of Congress so fast her head would have spun, she'd be up under the prison right now.
Right.
So, like you said, Tracy, what is taking so long to hand these people their exit papers?
You know they did it. The guy who coordinated it, and I forget his name. I think it's Ali something something. I can't pronounce his last name. He was saying,
Mhm.
I thought what he was saying was, oh, the staff members of those three people that you named helped them. And
Mhm.
he said, no, those three people helped me to plan this. That is just that that really literally blows my mind. And I start thinking, what's gonna happen when soon to be President Biden gives his State of the Union address? Are they gonna act nitwit event? Is he gonna do the whole thing via Zoom? I mean,
Mm.
that's just I can't even, like you said, I don't know why Pelosi is moving so slow, because she's the head of the House. So hey, lady, move it, because we
Well,
Exactly.
what the
I think an investigation has to be concluded, and these are the findings, and so here's what we're going to do. Uh, First, maybe they don't even want to expel. Maybe they, in the best interest of the government, they might want to gloss over the thing too. I don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. We don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. We just wait and see what they tell us, and then we're supposed to roll with it.
Here's what I'll say though. They need to investigate, obviously, but the investigation shouldn't take weeks and weeks. I mean, you had
Shouldn't.
Congress people, like you said, tweeting out Nancy Pelosi's location, tweeting out, we're here to riot. I'm not a police officer. I'm not with the FBI, but that doesn't seem to be a weeks and weeks and weeks on end investigation. That seems to me to be maybe 2 weeks tops. And
Right.
maybe I'm just expecting things to happen fast because of the society we live in. But I'm just like, no, they need to be immediately. I don't know if they could be suspended until the investigation is finished, but something needs to happen to them for plotting to kill additional, to kill Congress people. And you're right, Talisha, this is white privilege. If any of those protesters had been black,
Oh, dead on the spot.
dead.
DOA.
No trial, no jury, no nothing, just dead.
Nope. Nope.
And
But
And
so,
that just shows you how the police find so much restraint when it's white people because, I think it pained them to shoot that chick in the neck, but she was about to get into the chamber where Mike Pence was. It was kill or be killed, literally.
the what's I about to say?
Sorry,
uh,
Charles.
God, I lost my train of thought there for a minute.
Was it about white privilege?
Well, yeah, and you know, it's like, okay, we just have to just wait a minute, because who's doing the investigation? The Department of Justice. Who's running the Department of Justice? Trump's people. That when that changes over, maybe things change then, because I'm not sure. Well, I guess the in Congress they can vote
Well, they're
to
doing an
expel
ethics investigation in
somebody.
Congress right now.
yeah, they're doing an ethic. That's why I said if they could like suspend them until the actual investigation is finished, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because I'm like, okay, you're under charges. Okay,
Right. At least throw them off of their committees.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. Take away some of those committee
I
seating.
think I
Like,
think
okay,
some of them have been thrown off of committees.
Oh,
no, they
good.
have not.
I thought I heard that a couple of days after the riot happened, but I can't remember who it was.
I don't
Hmm.
But
remember anybody being thrown off. Now I might be wrong, and I had to research it, but I didn't see anybody get thrown off. I'm like, you could at least do that.
I thought it was off the judiciary. Somebody was thrown off the.
And yet AOC didn't get. Well, I mean, that's a whole different discussion for a whole different day.
Yeah.
Leave that alone. Um,
Good.
yeah, but something needs to happen, and it needs to be quick. Um, I just hope everything tomorrow goes well, and there's no idiots that decide to show up and make a mess of this whole thing. The fact that they even wanted to go after Pence, though, that's
Crazy.
scary. They even started, in some degrees, I saw tweets where they were turning against Trump. I'm like, what's wrong with these people? I
They're
mean,
rabid.
Well, and then now Pence, now Trump is, what uh the opinion of the media is that Trump didn't resign because he was afraid that Pence wouldn't pardon him.
Pardon him.
And, I guess I wouldn't pardon him either. You trying to have me killed,
Right.
and, you're not even calling to even find out what's going on and taking your time about sending some help right down the street. So, yeah, but I would think the same thing, that Pence wouldn't pardon me. So,
Yeah, and
Yeah, but he wouldn't do that 25th Amendment though. So I mean, obviously he's still kind of carrying Trump's water.
I think he was scared to do that 25th Amendment because if you think about it, if some nitwit was coming to look for his life because she felt that he didn't have Trump's back enough, and he used that 25th Amendment, oh, he was thinking, oh no, I'm not. No, I only got one life to live. So that's what I think he was thinking in not using the 25th Amendment. But I think, the fact that Congress people were involved with this, police officers, and that's a whole nother thing we did not talk about, is the rise of white nationalism in our military, in our police departments. We need to do a better job of vetting policemen to see, hey, has this person ever showed up to a KKK rally? If so, we probably don't need that person to be a police. Because you had police officers taking off to be in this protest. I'm like,
right.
okay, so how do you treat black and brown people when you arrest them?
We already know.
Yeah, we already know the answer
we
to
already
that.
know that. So,
Yeah, we already know, but I just think that it's really time for police departments and the military to look at, how are we vetting these people? And if
Well,
they,
I know for they removed two of the National Guardsmen so far from the FBI.
well,
They did the vetting, and they've moved two of them so far, and they didn't specify why, but definitely it was after the FBI started vetting. So they could have been a part of the white nationalist groups or whatever, but they've already taken two of them off.
no, it's 12 now.
yeah, I thought it
Oh,
was,
really?
yeah, I thought it
Yes,
was,
Whoa.
it's 12. And there
Oh,
are,
wow.
it's policemen all over the country having to deal with their internal affairs about, being at this riot. So, it's like I say, it's slow, but it's just going to be a lot of people that are answering for this insurrection.
Chickens are coming home to roost.
Bruce, exactly. The next issue I want to talk about is, of course, tomorrow. And again, audience, we're taking this on a Tuesday instead of a Monday because of technical difficulties. But by the time you all see this, Joe Biden will officially be our 46th president. Kamala Harris will be our first female Indian African American president. Talk about how do you feel about them taking office and what challenges, and only name a couple, that you think they're going to have?
Well, they're going to have, first of all, the vaccine, the distribution and the administering of it. It's a shame where you hear places running out of the vaccine. Well, it seems that once you vaccine somebody, you should be setting aside another vaccine for when they come back in 3 weeks. They need to get a better grip on the distribution and the administering it. It shouldn't be any lines waiting. It should be stations set up, and those stations should be run 24/7. It shouldn't be normal business hours.
Right.
And I think he's gonna have to do it because he's talking about
100
100
million.
million people in
First 100
100 days.
days.
Yeah, so that's like what, 10,000 people a day to get this vaccine. So that, I think that's one of the challenges he's going to face.
What about you, Talisha?
Well, I kind of feel no ways. I'm numb about a Kamala Biden or a Biden Harris presidency. I guess if we're looking at challenges already, there's dissent in the progressive circles. People are upset because now they're talking about a $1,400 check as opposed to a $2,000 check, and folks are saying, well, you got the 600. No, 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 no. That's not what you said. You said if we put those two people in office down in Georgia, there will be $2,000 checks coming. So already folks are saying they're lying. So they better get about the business of the people. Stop listening to the Republicans who didn't even want you to take office in the first place, and the likes of Joe Manchin, and cut some $2,000 checks, so you're not going to be here in 4 years.
Exactly. So you got to the point that I was at. I was going to ask, does Joe Biden not know the difference between 1,400 and 600? It didn't surprise me that that's what he was going to do. And I kept saying, you know what? I'm so glad I didn't vote for this because I kept saying, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? I had it in the back of my mind. I said, I thought he was going to do 12. And I'm like, oh, he did 14. And so I just thought, okay, here come the excuses. And here it was. So I know his staff is trying to spend this like, oh, but you got the 600 and we're giving out we're giving out loans to small businesses. First of all, those loans had to be repaid. And second of all, we clearly heard you say $2,000, not 1,400. So I hope that now the chair of the finance committee in the Senate, who is now going to be Bernie Sanders, says, hey, I'm so happy about that. I'm so glad that he got passed over for that a cabinet seat. And now he can put the pressure on Biden that's going to be needed. Because if it wasn't for him and the progressives, I don't even think we'd be discussing $2,000 checks.
Well, Josh Hawley too with his old treasonous behind.
Oh, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said Josh Hawley too with his old treasonous behind.
Yeah, but he may get now Cory Bush has had legislation, although I don't think it's going to get heard, to get him removed from office. So he may come out for $2,000 too. So I hope somebody talks to Joe Biden and be like, hey, you ain't even in office yet. This is not the time to be going back on campaign promises.
Right.
Literally
Well,
said,
you know what? I told you, yesterday that it doesn't matter if it's 1,400 or $2,000. I mean, there hasn't been any assistance in that way since back in March. We're talking about, 3/4 of the year. So it should have been a lot more than that. And
True.
so they give this, and then what are they going to give next? Or how long will it take to come out with something else? It should be something steady. It should be like $2,000 every other week. That's what it should be like until the economy gets back on its feet.
Right.
yeah, but I don't
But
think
but they negotiate on how much not to give the public. They don't want to give the
Right.
public anything. I mean,
Right.
they probably start at zero and then try to work their way up to some number, and then throw it at us, which is, it's not really an acceptable figure. But they figure, well, we'll throw these crumbs at them and they'll be okay. And
And yeah, well, what I can't understand is, one, why people aren't in the streets demanding $2,000 per week. And the second thing I can't understand is, how is the government telling us, don't go out to bars and restaurants, don't go out if you don't have to, but yet you're not giving money to people to stay at home. And there's millions, literally millions of people that have lost their jobs because they can't work at the bars, they can't work at the restaurants because their job is
Right.
gone, their business is closed. So you're telling them to stay at home, but you're not, you're only talking about at best a one-time payment, which really it should
Mm,
be reoccurring.
yes.
And again, I don't understand why people haven't, picked up the phone and really gotten on their Congress and their senators like, hey, we need this money. Not because we're lazy, not because we don't want to work, it's because we can't work. There are millions
Right.
of people that literally can't work because their business is closed.
Right.
I,
And
you
then you
know,
got the
and I
likes of
put
Joe Manchin. You
the
got the likes of
blame.
Joe Manchin.
Oh, hold on a
I'm
second, guys.
sorry.
Go ahead, Talisha.
And I was saying you got the likes of Joe Manchin. It was like, oh, it needs to be, you know, income based or whatever. But why should people have to be on the cusp or even under the level of poverty before you help them? God forbid they give you an extra couple of grand to throw in your bank account. So when these hard times do hit, you got a cushion. Why do you have to be like dying and homeless before they'll give us our money back? There's a huge problem with that. And I'm with you, Tracy. If you're going to riot and if you're going to overtake the Capitol, that should be why.
Well, I say the money should be for everybody. Okay,
Right.
anybody who has a social security number, a citizen of the United States, regardless if you working or you're not working, you still need to survive.
Right.
This whole thing was because the government fumbled the ball, and they did not. They were more concerned about the economy than they were about uh, people's health. And they, I guess, figured it was just something that was just going to blow right through here, and that's not happening. The numbers increasing. First it was in the hundreds of people dying a day, and now it's up in the thousands. It's
Yes.
been high as the past 4,000 people dying a day, and they still dying. Uh,
Mm.
and they don't want to accept that responsibility, but they were the ones that dropped the ball, who didn't want to do anything, who wanted people to go back to work, who wanted kids to go back to school, and now the stuff has affected. They had to close schools down again. They want to reopen them. And, basically these kids have lost about a year of school
Yes.
Hmm.
because, they closed it up before the summer last year, and they reopened it, but yeah, they closed it down now. They don't have a plan. That's what I'm upset about. They don't have a pandemic plan, and they should have had started a team to examine a national plan when they had the pandemic in, was it 1819?
I thought it was
The
eighteen
Spanish flu.
eighteen.
Huh?
I thought it was 1818, but you could be right.
Okay, well, then, they should have been working on something, and maybe that's what Biden should do with this pandemic. He needs to commission a team, and they need to start going, talking to people in the states and say, this is what we're gonna do if there's another pandemic. You need to freeze the prices, you need to freeze the wages, you need to freeze rent.
Moratorium on rent.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a whole lot of things you need to do, and you need to get everybody to agree upon, this is what we're going to do. You need to run drills every year and figure out, okay, if we fill up this hospital to capacity, what are we going to do after that? You got to have some kind of plan. And these hospitals are filling up. It doesn't take long for the ICUs to fill up because it's not that many beds in the ICU. Plus, there's people in the ICU that have issues going on that aren't COVID related. So,
Right.
they need to figure this out because
Yeah.
it's bad.
I think the number one thing that they need to do in terms of responding to this is, I'm still going to say, I think we need a mask mandate. It is totally
Yes.
ridiculous that people can go into grocery stores and grocery stores even escort them out for not wearing a mask because they're too cheap to pay for security. I'm not going to name the store, but
That's
in their name.
that's they have it here, okay, that you don't go into any of the stores, and I haven't seen people come into the stores
Oh, good.
without masks here in Arizona. But when
Definitely
you start
depends on the
talking
state.
about somebody who wants to come in that store without a mask, you should have a police presence.
That's what
The
I just said.
police,
We need police out
the,
because
the no, not security. The police should be doing the security, not hiring somebody who's not a police to do the security because you might have to kill this person. And
True.
a security guy, I guess know will get thrown under the bus if he kills somebody for not wearing a mask.
yeah, well, like I said, you must live in a great state because I went to the store yesterday and I could count on two hands how many people were not wearing masks. Or they'll do that thing where they'll just cover their mouth like they're like you can't just breathe it in for some reason. And so, like I said, we need a mask mandate. We definitely need a plan on how to distribute this the now two, hopefully it'll be 3 vaccines for this. And I think what they're trying to do, which I definitely agree with, is they're trying to open it up to like the CVS's and the Walmarts and the Walgreens and the urgent care so they can give people those vaccines. I think that needs to be done. I definitely think we need to encourage people to stay at home by paying them to stay at home. So I don't think that
Right.
$2,000 payment is going to be enough. I'm with you, Charles. I think it should be 2,000, maybe 3,000 every 2 weeks. That is hitting people's paycheck or pay accounts that they're getting on their debit card, so that they can shop online, perhaps, or go to the grocery store, or pay their mortgage or rent. Um, we definitely need a moratorium on rents because you still have landlords that are evicting people who haven't worked.
Right.
And the problem there is you're making a mandate for something. Whenever you make a mandate for something, you have to have backup to enforce that mandate. What are just because you tell somebody to wear a mask don't mean they're going to wear a mask. Just like, you got these people out here running around with guns and stuff, and you telling them don't do that. But, what are you willing to do to enforce your mandate?
Right.
It could be, you might have to kill a person.
Mm.
Is the government ready to do that? I'm not sure if they're ready to do that. You fine them if they don't wear a mask. You fine them. They don't wear a mask. So what do you do next? Do you put them in? I tell you, I say put them in jail. Put them in jail together, because if they believe this is a hoax and this virus isn't real, then they shouldn't have any problem being in jail together. So that's my feeling about it.
Yep. So like I said, there's a lot of work to be done. Um, and they've given themselves 100 days to do it. I don't know if it's going to be accomplished in 100 days. Um, at least they're taking action on it, and not like the last administration um, that says, "Oh, it's a hoax," so that I lose the election. Like, sit down somewhere. Um,
Right.
so It's amazing. So we're almost to our last subject, and like I said, I'm cutting in a little short because I want to do our tribute to Dr. King. And so yesterday we briefly talked about what Dr. King meant to each of us, and how some of the things he said in the past are still going on today. So I'll let Talisha talk first, then Charles, then me.
Okay. Well, always growing up, we got the whitewash history that he was about peace and coming together, and all he wanted to do was see little white boys and little black girls and everybody be together. What they didn't talk about was the radical that was Martin Luther King, the radical that says the government needs to pay the money to the citizens, that they need to stop hoarding all our money and giving it to the rich, and they need to take care of the least of these. This is what they don't talk about and they don't teach you. And I loved as an adult, it was sad that it took me to be an adult, but finding out that he wasn't just kumbaya, let's go along to get along. He actually spoke out against the Vietnam War, these endless, useless wars that we're still in the middle of. He spoke against all these things. And I honestly think that that's what took him out of here, not because he was trying to get integration. It was because he was trying to make Big Brother do the right thing when it came to poor people, and when it came to, because guess who's the first people to sign up for war? Poor people's kids. Excuse me, not rich people. Excuse me. And the rich paying their fair share. So I really admire that he didn't just care about self. He literally gave his life so that we could have better. And I hope that the young folks coming up actually embody some of that spirit and, stick to itiveness and fight for our freedoms, because unfortunately the same stuff he was fighting for then is the stuff we're fighting for now. And we got to figure out a way to get control of this system that somehow has put moneyed interests and corporations ahead of people and lives and medical, saving needs, just so they can make that dollar.
Okay, Charles, you're next.
Okay, I really thought he was a very inspiring and powerful person, that he really motivated people, uplift them, and could get them to, start to follow him, give them hope. But on the other side, he after after the Voting Right Act and the Civil Rights Act, then he kind of lost his way. I think the government was able to buy him out, and he didn't. He stayed silent about that war for 2 years. He didn't. That war started in '65, and he didn't come out against that war until '67 because he realized that the government was failing on what they promised to do, and he tried to gin up his movement again. But people weren't going back out in the street and get the dog sicked on them and getting beaten by the police or the water hoses or thrown in jail, because a lot of people prospered from that. Look at John Lewis. He went from getting beaten on the bridge up to the Congress. And it was other people that prospered from that, and they weren't gonna uh, put their put any skin back into the game again. They weren't going back through that again because they weren't poor anymore. So that's how you buy out a movement. I'm sorry, that's how you stop a movement, is by buying it out. You don't necessarily have to kill the leader, but in this case they did, but because he was trying to make a comeback again. But I still admire him because, I mean, he had the right idea. He's making the first steps. No, he wasn't going to see the benefits from it because he was just getting things started. we still got generations to move on to. The next generation, my generation. We screwed it up too. So now it's on the younger generation. The NAACP was the big organization during my time. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Those were the big ones. Now they became untimely. Now it's Black Lives Matter. The NAACP then took a back seat, and they're watching what happened. And it's the next generation, and hopefully they can keep prospering. And the the I think Martin Luther King, he went after the symptoms of racism, tried to go for integration, saying that, we can eat at this lunch counter, or we can sit in this in the theater together. We didn't have to be up in the balcony while everybody's downstairs. We didn't have to have separate water fountains. Those kind of things. We didn't have to ride in the back of the bus anymore. But the only thing that all those things had in common was it was enforced by the police. That's who he should have been addressing, the police. They needed to have reformed the police at that time. And now, the police just kept getting powerful and powerful, because if you don't have an enforcement to branch of your government to enforce whatever laws you come up with, well, those things couldn't happen. So I just think that, looking back, that, he just got thrown off his game. That's it. But he's still an inspiring person, and I just love to hear him talk because he tells the truth.
So before I played this clip of his last sermon, two things I forgot. I forgot to ask, who is your choice for idiot of the week? Charles, I'll let you go first, and then Talisha, I'll let you go second.
My idiot of the week is I think Mike Lindell. He's the My Pillow guy who going up to the White House trying to get
the My
Trump
Pillow
to
guy.
declare martial law last Friday. So that's my idiot of the week.
Okay, Talisha.
There's so many to choose from.
I know there's
I guess I'll pick Tucker Carlson, who has tried to downplay the riots, and basically it seemed like the media is turning against poor, innocent white people that's just trying to have their voices heard, and basically trying to demonize the Democrats. And in this instant, they are right when they say that Trump spearheaded and facilitated an insurrection against our country, and not only he but all his aiders and abettors need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent. And Tucker trying to say anything other than he agrees with that statement makes him the idiot of the week.
Okay, so my thoughts on Dr. King and then my pick for Idiot of the Week. I'm just going to say ditto to everything Talisha said. When I grew up in school, it was all about holding hands and singing Kumbaya. It wasn't until I was in my teens that I found out that Dr. King was for the things that we're talking about: universal basic income. He was for workers' rights. He was for just a host of things that we are still fighting for. And I wish that all the politicians that quoted King would actually do what King was actually talking about. We let the media portray Dr. King as someone that was loved. And indeed, he is loved now, but he wasn't then, because he was speaking the truth then And somehow we've let the media kind of take that message away that he was against endless wars that made no sense for us to be fighting in. He was for universal basic income. He was for workers' rights. We need to concentrate on that form of king instead of this idealized, let's hold hands, black children and white children. And not that I don't believe in racial integration, I do, but I think we need to get less away from the whitewashing of King and move to who he actually was. That's what I think. My
Amen.
of the week, it's Elizabeth from Knoxville, Tennessee. Elizabeth got maced when she went to the insurrection protest. And let me tell you what, YouTube knows how to make people seem funny. I've heard music be put over her speech. I've heard memes. I've heard accurate portrayals of her. Funniest thing about her was she wore that piano scarf. But Elizabeth from Knoxville, Tennessee is my idiot of the week. And so I'm going to share my screen. So, Alicia, I need you to stay on a little bit extra. And we're going to just cut now and tell everyone to thank you for watching this show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember to support on Patreon. That is very, very important. I'm going to share this little clip from the Dr. King's sermon. So it'll be just a moment. Okay. Can you all see the screen? I know you can.
We can.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves.
We're experiencing technical difficulty. This way, just fine yesterday. Can we do this one more time? I don't know what's wrong with that clip, but it was a great clip. Are you guys still there?
We are.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, for some reason my internet. Okay, got it. So hold on a second. I'm gonna try that one more time.
Uh-oh, did we lose Tracy?
I think we did. Some said I'm the host now.
Charles, you're in charge.
Oh God, we really lost now.
And it's still recording.
Let's see if
well,
do I have to let her back in the meeting or?
Do you see somebody trying? Because it'll say host needs to let you back in. Well, you know that from our point of view. So do you see her trying to get in?
Nothing's popping up on my screen.
Hilarious. Oh my goodness. Well, folks,
I have to do this again tomorrow.
Right? I know. At least maybe she could just do a clip at the end to add, the Martin Luther King portion in. Well, folks, me and Charles are here, and we want to thank you guys for watching us. Charles, you have any parting words?
That I hope that everything goes real smooth tomorrow. And, the president gets out of town early in the morning and Pence transfers power smoothly and they get moved into the White House pretty quick. Although, I think they're going to be sitting around waiting to get into the White House because, they're not having the inaugural lunch or the festivities that they have right after the inauguration. So, and I'm not sure if the White House is going to be totally ready for them. You know, I guess they tell them check-in time is at 3 o'clock. So just
Oh,
like for
wow.
Trump checkout time is 12 p.m., just like any hotel, you know. We got your credit card on file, so if it's any damages done, it'll be charged to your card.
Can you
I know that's right. Hey, Tracy's back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had to, my computer decided to shut down, so I'm going to rejoin the room. I don't know what happened. It just went boom, 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 boom. I'm actually on my phone right now.
I hope it didn't erase it again. I hope we
Yeah,
don't
I
have
know.
to do
I'm
this
like, man, I
again.
don't feel like recording this no more times. No.
Well, it looks like it recorded because it still says it says record.
Okay, that's good. And well, I mean, I just had it and it just went.
You had too much power pulling.
Apparently.
We
Me and Talisha handled it while you was gone.
did. We did. Charles was just wishing the new first family and the new second family a smooth and eventless transition.
Yep, it's already recorded, so I won't get I'm gonna have to get that to edit on. I don't believe this. My computer just went.
But you know, if the shooting starts, well, I'm at home, so hey, like I say, the drama. You know, I guess it'll be, you know, the new season or new series for drama of Trump after the White House. So
I know that's right.
I know, you know, it's like the news ain't got nothing else to talk about, but Trump, they been doing it for, you know, 4 years. I'm
At
not sure, you
least.
know, they got to find somebody to talk about. You know, Biden, I told you, I think he's just going to be boring.
Well, did you guys hear Pompeo's parting words to the State Department saying that
Yep, he
America
said
has never been about
yep, he said nationalism was un-American.
no multiculturalism?
Yeah, he said multiculturalism. I'm like, you racist piece of.
Basically, like the hoods have just been ripped off. They're like, you know what? If we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out with a bang.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, that's not surprising. So,
Okay, I'm
At
coming back
all.
in.
Okay. Well, the crazy thing is he had the nerve to just tweet some scripture the other day. So how you gonna tweet scripture and at the same time be racist?
you know, they would have lynched Jesus if Jesus was walking around now, you know,
You
trying
are
to
telling the
motivate
truth.
people, mess up the money in the church, you know,
Hmm.
they were and getting people to follow him, you know, they would
Ran
Jesus
him
would
out
have
of
got
town on a
lynched
rail.
again.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got an echo.
That's because
Feedback.
my phone is on. Hold on. I cannot believe this happened.
Maybe mute your phone or
Yep,
your
that's what I'm
laptop.
going to do.
Okay.
That is what. Okay, so it shouldn't be a mute. Okay, got it. Okay, so we're going to take the extra meat out this room. We're going to hide it. And which one is me? Okay, guys, thank you for your patience.
No
Okay,
worries.
so I can't do that. Okay, so I'm going to try this clip one more time. Oh, shoot. It won't let me. Okay, so we not going to get to share the clip because it's not going to let me.
All right.
Okay, so, okay, we're going to try it one more time.
Talisha, you keep your head down tomorrow because it's like I say, there's some crazy people up there in DC.
You're not kidding. But so
They
we're
not on
probably hitting.
bowling where, hopefully they ain't on bowling where you at.
Well, the crazy thing is, like we were saying, there was military folks out there, so they can get on base. So nobody's safe. The one thing I had was that we had that sentry on the gate, but not anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they can get on base. But we'll be headed out of town hopefully about 1 or 2 o'clock. So hopefully we'll miss the looting and the shooting.
Well, if you had to run, I got a spare
All we
room
say to America is be
Thank you.
true to what you said on paper. If I lived in
You can hear it, but you
China
can't
or
see it.
even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the
Okay, it's not gonna work tonight. I don't know what's wrong with my computer.
White
So-
people,
freedom
black
of
people.
speech. Somewhere I read of the
It's
freedom
coming.
of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
Yeah, this computer is just
So just as I say, we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunction turn us around.
Yep. My computer is acting stupid.
Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
Well, guys, I'll see you next week. Talisha, you still there?
I'm still here, hun.
Okay. So, Charles, if you could kind of drop out, and then I'll stay on here with Talisha about 5 minutes, and I'll see you next week.
All right, y'all
And I
have a
won't
great
be calling
evening.
you. You too. Thank you.
Charles,
welcome.
take care.
You too.
Have a
Bye
good
now.
week.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm trying to do like 4 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
And my internet has decided it's not cooperating.
I see that.
I'm
You know,
like,
that's usually how it goes.
I know the time that I say, oh, I'm gonna tape now. I'm gonna tape now. Boom. So you got the big news that Aida Rodriguez is gonna be on the 19th.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yes, she's going to be on the 19th.
Awesome.
Yep. And I'm working on getting a couple more. Only problem is her interview, she cannot do a Saturday. So
Okay.
I had to do it Friday. I mean, I'm still going to do the big show with you guys, but it'll be just me, her, and then it'll have to be edited in front of what we're talking about.
Okay.
because apparently she don't work weekends. I'm like, well, I got a corporate job, so basically, you know, let me see if this went to my voicemail. I mean, my email. Please let it be taken. If not, I'm gonna just do it by myself. Be like, I'm tired. I can't today. This is like the third. I'm like, come on, computer. So, real tired.
Now, I don't know if it may not have it because technically we're still recording.
Yep, that's what I'm trying to get into. And it's like it will not stop for me. I cannot get it to stop recording.
And if you do, are you going to possibly accidentally erase it?
That's what I'm scared of.
Hmm.
Let's see. I'm going to stop it on here.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so we're going to pause it.